Hey everyone, this is Lila Boudry, and here is my data analysis presentation. So get the screen ready here. Okay, so let's get that hatch preferred feeder types. So some background information before I get into this project is objectives for this project would be to determine which type of feeder, plastic versus metal, that would attract more nuthatch visits. So I just want to remind everybody, I was not able to identify each individual nuthatch. So I am counting the number of visits that a nuthatch has made to the feeders throughout this project. And then also a goal would be to determine the time of day that the majority of nuthatch visits are more likely to happen. So I was observing between 9 and 10 a.m. or between 4 to 5 p.m. and which was more preferable. The study design for this experiment is definitely experimental and observational as well, with, observing the wildlife, in this case, our avian species being the nuthatch, white-breasted nuthatch. I did this from home, so I do not have usually as many red-breasted nuthatch. So this is just including the white-breasted nuthatch. My hypothesis for this experiment, if the metal bird feeder is being offered to the local nuthatch population, then the number of nuthatch visits will be greater than the number of visits when a plastic feeder is being offered. And this is in my front yard as well, this picture here. So methods and materials. So for our materials for this experiment, what I was needing to have a metal bird feeder, a plastic bird feeder, which I did already have and set up in the front yard on a normal basis. So a bird feeder stand for these feeders, the wild bird seed, which I have a picture of what I've been using, a timer, paper, pen, and a camera. So basically, as far as the methods, I was observing the white-breasted nuthatch. I was doing this Saturday through Monday for 2 consecutive weeks. I'm home and I'm off work Saturdays through Mondays. So this was a time frame for me to make sure I'm home and available to observe these birds. So the first week I started this was October 2nd through October 4th. Like I said, that Saturday through Monday, and the times observed being 9 to 10 a.m. and then 4 to 5 p.m. The second week was the exact same, but the first week I used the metal bird feeder, and then the second week I used a plastic bird feeder. So the second week was October 9th through 11th, and then the same time, so 9 to 10 a.m. and 4 to 5 p.m. The control for my experiment would be the food that I am supplying for the nuthatch. This is the same diet, and then the location of the feeders are also in the same area, same location. The independent variable that we have would be the type of bird feeder that is being used. So like I said, week 1 is metal, week 2 is plastic. And then another independent variable would be the times that I'm observing. So between 9 and 10 a.m. and then 4 to 5 p.m. A dependent variable is going to be our number of nuthatch visits that are being made to each the feeder. This is a map just for you all to have a better idea. So if we're looking at the bottom here, this is my house. On the right-hand side is my front porch. So I'm able to actually sit on the porch and view the birds from the porch. Or I do have a big front window, which we'll see in another picture. So I can sit inside and look through the window to watch at the feeder, or the porch, which is really convenient. And then this is the front yard, and then showing the sidewalk, the end of the driveway, and then the rest of the street. So like I was saying, this is the window inside. So if you look to the right here, I do have for this image, right before I started the project, both of my feeders up. They are empty. So the green is the plastic, and then this rust metal color is the red color is the metal feeder. And then again, you can kind of see this big window on the picture in the right, and then both of my feeders hanging. Mind you, I did only have one feeder out per each week, like I said. So the metal feeder for week 1, and then the plastic feeder for week 2. So for the results, basically, we are finding that the nuthatches are preferring the metal feeder over the plastic feeder, and that they prefer to make more visits in the evening time frame versus the morning time frame. So this first graph here is the first week. So my Saturday, Sunday, Monday. In our blue bar is going to be our morning time, and then the orange is our evening time. So like I said, you can tell evening time in the metal feeder is definitely favored over the plastic feeder. But again, still evening times is when they're coming to the feeder more frequently. Okay, and then this again supporting that the metal feeder is favored over the plastic for both favored for both morning and evening times. Okay. Conclusions. So evenings, like I said, are the most popular time for the nuthatch to visit the feeders. The metal feeder is preferred over the plastic feeder for both our AM and PM visits. So overall, as you can see, let me go back to the graphs here, but my total numbers for the birds that I was viewing, since I took an 2-hour span out of each day for 6 days, are pretty low. So with, during one sitting, seeing a majority of 6 birds. So we know, as far as a scientific experiment, this is pretty inconclusive and could have just happened, chance. If in order to improve this, changes for the future, I would recommend having more time set aside to do this and observe these birds, more days of the week, and then a longer time period as well, to really get better, more inclusive, accurate data. So another paper that I was reading and was kind of comparing to this experiment is the paper is called Patterns of Feeder Use by Wisconsin Birds. And going through this paper, one of the big takeaways is that we do know one of the most frequent visitors to feeders, especially in northern Wisconsin, is the white-breasted nuthatch. However, some of these numbers here do tell us that they are more popular and are using their environments more, and locating themselves as close to the feeders as possible. So they are living as close to the feeders that are placed out in rural areas. 93% of them are choosing their habitats to be near these feeders. So that kind of also just shows how the research I was able to come up with, is too low in numbers to tell how accurate this would be, and whether or not this was just coincidence with my hypothesis that they would prefer a metal bird feeder over plastic. So definitely, like I said, a couple of things to change for future research. And then this is my citation. Thank you.